The challenge unveiled. Scene slammed his empty glass on the bar, growling, "You say humans like it's an insult, Cronus. But those soft, weak creatures will tear you apart before you even realize you're bleeding out. Good luck." In the dim light of the Sid space station bar, Scene hunched over the counter, his scared face twisted in a scowl. Cronus had seen his old comrade in many states, victorious, wounded, drunk, but never like this. Never haunted. "Scene, you look like you've seen a ghost," Cronus said, sliding onto the stool next to him. "Worse," Scene muttered. "I've seen humans in action." Cronus scoffed. "Humans? Those pathetic pests. What could they possibly do to rattle a hardened warrior like you?" Scene's eyes unfocused as if reliving a terrible memory. "Remember that mission to the GMA quadrant? We intercepted a distress call from the Xindi. They were under attack by the Dominion. By the time we arrived, a human ship was already there, the U.S. Endeavor, commanded by Captain Christian Tucker." He took a long pull from his drink, then slammed the glass down. "We thought the humans were idiots for getting involved. The Dominion was a powerful enemy, and the Xindi were strangers to both our races. But the humans didn't hesitate. They saw a species in need and jumped right in." Cronus leaned forward, his interest piqued. "So, what happened?" Sheen's fist clenched. "What happened is that I saw the humans do things I never thought possible. They fought with a ferocity and cleverness that put us to shame. If they hadn't been there, the Xindi would have been wiped out completely, and the Dominion would be banging down our doors today. The humans needed to succeed that day. They were the Xindi's only hope. The battle begins. That's when Tucker really showed what humans are made of." Scene continued, his voice now tinged with a hint of admiration. "He had the Endeavor release a barrage of those quantum filament torpedoes right into the center of the approaching Dominion fleet. The detonations ripped through their formation, sending enemy ships keeling into each other. It was chaos." Cronus's mouth hung open in shock. "I've never heard of a weapon doing that kind of damage. How is that possible?" Scene shrugged. "Hell if I know. Some kind of subspace disruption field, according to the humans' engineer. All I know is it bought them time. Time to beam a strike team onto the crippled ships. Time to evacuate the Xindi survivors. Time to regroup and prepare for the next wave." He leaned back, his expression distant. "I watched it all from my ship. We were too far out to engage, but close enough to see the carnage. The Dominion kept coming, wave after wave, but the Endeavor held the line. They fought with everything they had, pulling tricks I'd never seen before. It was like they could anticipate the enemy's every move." Cronus shook his head in disbelief. "I still can't fathom it. Humans, of all species, standing against the Dominion and winning. Unyielding resolve." Sheen let out a harsh laugh. "Oh, they did more than win. By the time the battle was over, the Dominion had lost more than half their fleet. The Endeavor was barely holding together, but they'd done it. They'd saved the Xindi and sent the Dominion running with their tails between their legs." He fixed Cronus with a hard stare. "That's when I realized humans aren't to be underestimated." Scene took a slow swig of his drink, closing his eyes as if he could still see the events unfolding. "Tucker knew we were the Xindi's last chance. He gathered his best engineers and security officers. Then he did something I never expected. He ordered them to beam to the Xindi ship." Cronus nearly spit out his drink. "What? That's suicide. Even if they could get past the Dominion shields, they'd be slaughtered the moment they materialized." A wry grin spread across Scene's face. "Yeah, that's what we all thought. But the humans had a secret weapon, a phase cloak." Cronus's brow furrowed. "Phase cloak? What the hell is that?" "Some new tech they'd been developing. It could make them invisible to sensors, even while transporting." Cronus's eyes widened. "No way. That's impossible." Scene chuckled. "That's what I said." But there they were, Tucker and his team, appearing on the Xindi bridge like ghosts. The Dominion never saw them coming. Ghosts of war. They got to work fast, repairing the Xindi shields, rerouting power to their weapons. It was like watching a well-oiled machine. Scene continued. By the time the Dominion fleet dropped out of warp, the Xindi were ready for a fight. Cronus was on the edge of his seat. And then what? A fierce light gleamed in Scene's eyes. Then the Endeavor and the Xindi opened fire. Those quantum filament torpedoes ripped through the Dominion ships like they were made of paper. It was a slaughter. The Dominion didn't stand a chance. Cronus shook his head in amazement. Unbelievable. The Dominion, defeated by humans and Xindi. I never thought I'd see the day. But Sheen's expression darkened. It wasn't over, though. The Dominion had one more card to play. Sheen's eyes grew distant as he recalled the fateful mission. Tucker's plan was set in motion. The Endeavor engaged the Dreadnought, zipping around it like a fly buzzing a behemoth. The Dreadnought's weapons lashed out, trying to swat the Endeavor from the sky. But Tucker was a cunning pilot, always staying just out of reach. As Scene spoke, Cronus could almost see the battle unfolding in his mind's eye. The sleek silver form of the Endeavor darting and weaving, the hulking mass of the Dreadnought looming over it like a mountain over a molehill. The ultimate sacrifice. Meanwhile, Scene continued. Tucker and his team activated their phase cloaks. They shimmered out of sight, invisible to the naked eye and the Dreadnought's sensors. They beamed aboard, slipping past the ship's defenses like ghosts. Cronus nodded, picturing the scene. The strike team, materializing in the bowels of the enemy ship, weapons at the ready, moving with silent efficiency. They made their way to the power core, Scene said. It was massive, pulsing with energy. Tucker and his team got to work, planting explosives, rewiring systems, sabotaging everything they could. Scene paused, taking a long pull from his drink. Cronus waited, the suspense building in his gut. And then, Scene continued. Just as they were about to make their escape, all hell broke loose. The Dreadnought's crew had found them. Alarms blared. Soldiers poured in from every direction. It was chaos. Cronus leaned forward, his heart pounding. What did they do? Sheen met his gaze, his eyes haunted. They fought. Tucker and his team. They fought like demons. They cut down Dominion soldiers left and right, blasting their way back to the beam-out point. But there were too many. They were being overwhelmed. Cronus's breath caught in his throat. He could picture the scene all too vividly. The flashing of weapons fire, the cries of the wounded and dying, the desperate struggle of Tucker and his team. Tucker made a decision. Scene said, his voice barely above a whisper. He ordered his team to get out, to beam back to the Endeavor, and he stayed behind, holding off the Dominion forces, buying them time to escape. Heroism remembered. Cronus's eyes widened. He sacrificed himself. Scene nodded, his expression grim. He knew it was the only way. And it worked. His team made it out, and when they were clear, Tucker detonated the explosives. The power core went up in a massive explosion, ripping through the Dreadnought's insides. The ship was crippled, its main weapon destroyed. Cronus sat back, stunned. The magnitude of Tucker's sacrifice, the bravery it must have taken, was almost beyond comprehension. The Dreadnought was destroyed, Scene said. The Dominion fleet was in disarray. The Xindi was saved. But the cost was high. He drained his glass, setting it down with a heavy thunk. Cronus shook his head, trying to process it all. I had no idea, he murmured. I never knew humans were capable of such things. Sheen met his gaze, his expression hard. Never underestimate them, Cronus. That's a mistake the Dominion made, and they paid for it dearly. Humans, they're a force to be reckoned with. They'll do whatever it takes, sacrifice whatever they must, to protect what they believe in. Cronus nodded slowly, a newfound respect blooming in his chest. I see that now, he said softly. Tucker, he was a hero. Shane's eyes grew distant once more. He was, he agreed. And his sacrifice, it wasn't in vain. The Xindi survived. The Dominion was dealt a blow they never recovered from. But the war, it was far from over. A legacy of bravery. Scene took a deep breath, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. Tucker and his team, they managed to sabotage the Dreadnought's power core. Plasma conduits ruptured, energy grids overloaded, explosions rocked the ship. He downed another shot, but they were discovered. Alarms blared, Dominion soldiers swarmed the decks, disruptor rifles blazing. They sent everything they had after Tucker's team. Sheen's voice trembled. Tucker, he knew they couldn't all make it back to the Endeavor, not with those numbers against them. So he made the call. He ordered his team to beam back to safety without him. The ripple effect. As the night wore on, Scene and Kronos continued to share stories and memories, each more unbelievable than the last. The tale of Captain Tucker's sacrifice resonated deeply within them, a testament to the indomitable spirit of humanity. Word of the Human-Xindi alliance spread throughout the galaxy. Other species, previously subjugated or oppressed by the Dominion, began to take notice. The once invincible Dominion faced a growing number of rebellions, inspired by the bravery of the humans and their allies. The ripple effect of Tucker's sacrifice was felt far and wide, igniting sparks of hope and resistance. In the days that followed, Scene found himself haunted by the memories of the battle. He couldn't shake the image of Tucker standing alone, defiant to the end, ensuring his team's survival. Determined to honor Tucker's legacy, Scene sought out ways to unite the various factions within the galaxy against the Dominion threat. Gathering allies. Scene and Kronos embarked on a journey to gather allies from different corners of the galaxy. Their mission was clear: to form a coalition powerful enough to challenge the Dominion's grip on the galaxy. Their first stop was the planet Vortis, home to a race known for their technological prowess. Scene and Kronos met with Vortis's leaders, sharing the story of Captain Tucker and the Human-Xindi alliance. The Vortis were moved by the tale, their eyes shining with newfound determination. "We will join you," declared Vortis's leader, a figure of wisdom and strength. "Together, we can overthrow the Dominion and bring peace to our galaxy." From Vortis, they traveled to the forested world of Ryloth, where they sought the support of the fierce and agile Twi'leks. The Twi'lek chieftain, a formidable warrior herself, listened intently to Scene and Kronos' plea. "Humans have proven their worth," she said. "We will stand with you in this fight." With each new alliance, Scene and Kronos felt the tide turning. The galaxy was uniting, species by species, under a common banner of resistance. The Galactic Summit. The coalition leaders convened on the neutral planet of Ilara for the first Galactic Summit. Representatives from dozens of species gathered in a grand hall, their faces reflecting a mix of hope and determination. The air buzzed with anticipation as Scene stepped up to the podium. "Today we stand united," he began, his voice echoing through the hall. "We have all suffered under the Dominion's tyranny. We have all lost loved ones, seen our worlds ravaged, our people enslaved. But no more. Today we take a stand. Together, we will fight for our freedom." The hall erupted in cheers, the sound of countless voices rising in unison. The coalition was ready, their spirits bolstered by the promise of a new era of peace and cooperation. The final battle. The coalition fleet, a diverse armada of ships from every corner of the galaxy, gathered at the edge of Dominion space. The final battle was imminent, a confrontation that would determine the fate of billions. Scene stood on the bridge of the Vortis flagship, flanked by leaders from the various allied species. Kronos was at his side, his expression steely with resolve. They had come a long way, but the hardest part was yet to come. "All ships, prepare for engagement," Scene commanded, his voice calm and steady. "Today, we fight for our future." The Dominion fleet appeared on the horizon, a vast array of warships bristling with weapons. The tension was palpable as the two armadas faced off, each side knowing that there could be no retreat, no surrender. The battle began with a deafening roar, energy beams, and torpedoes lighting up the void. The coalition fought with a determination born of desperation, their diverse tactics and strategies confounding the Dominion forces. Scene directed the fleet with precision, his mind focused on the ultimate goal. The battle raged on, each passing moment bringing new challenges and dangers. But the coalition held strong, their unity and resolve pushing them forward. The turning point. Amidst the chaos, a crucial opportunity presented itself. A gap in the Dominion's defenses, a chance to strike at the heart of their fleet. Scene seized the moment, directing the coalition's forces with relentless efficiency. "Focus all fire on the flagship," he ordered, his eyes blazing with determination. "We take out their command, and the rest will fall." The coalition ships converged on the Dominion flagship, their combined firepower overwhelming its shields. Explosions rocked the enemy vessel, sending shockwaves through the ranks of the Dominion fleet. On the bridge of the Vortis flagship, Scene watched as the Dominion flagship began to break apart, its once mighty form reduced to a smoldering wreck. Cheers erupted among the coalition forces, the tide of battle finally turning in their favor. Victory and sacrifice. The Dominion fleet, leaderless and disorganized, began to retreat. The coalition pursued, pressing their advantage and driving the enemy back. The battle was won, but the cost had been high. Ships lay in ruins, and countless lives had been lost. As the dust settled, Scene stood on the bridge, his heart heavy with both triumph and sorrow. They had achieved the impossible, but the price had been steep. The galaxy was free, but the scars of war would linger for generations. In the aftermath, Scene and Cronus returned to Sid Space Station, where they were greeted as heroes. The coalition leaders praised their bravery and leadership, recognizing the pivotal role they had played in securing victory. A new dawn. With the Dominion defeated, the coalition began the arduous task of rebuilding. Worlds that had been ravaged by war were given aid, and the bonds of unity forged in battle were strengthened through diplomacy and cooperation. Scene found solace in the knowledge that Captain Tucker's sacrifice had not been in vain. The legacy of the Human-Xindi alliance lived on, a testament to the power of courage and determination in the face of insurmountable odds. Cronus stood beside Scene as they looked out over the bustling space station, their eyes filled with hope for the future. The galaxy was on the path to a new dawn, one where peace and understanding could flourish. "We did it," Cronus said, his voice filled with quiet pride. Scene nodded, a smile breaking through his weary features. "Yes, we did. And now we build a better future for all of us." Legacy of heroes. Years passed, and the galaxy continued to thrive under the guidance of the coalition. New alliances were formed, and old wounds began to heal. The story of Captain Tucker and the Human-Xindi alliance became legend, inspiring future generations to stand up for what was right. Scene and Cronus remained close friends and advisors to the coalition, their bond strengthened by the trials they had faced together. They watched as the galaxy transformed, their hearts filled with pride at the progress that had been made. In the end, it was not the strength of their weapons, but the strength of their unity that had secured their victory. The galaxy had faced the impossible and emerged stronger, a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of all its inhabitants. And so, the legacy of the heroes who had fought for freedom lived on, a beacon of hope and inspiration for all who would follow in their footsteps.